welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT, and tonight we're live with Project Cars 2 for PlayStation with round 2 of the Pagnian Imports GT4 Championship. Tonight's round is Fuji GP, so it's going to be some exciting racing. So we'll head over and check out the session for tonight. We've got the two sessions heading over into a 15-minute practice. Weather is medium cloud. Qualifying is 15 minutes. Weather is medium cloud. The sprint race being 10 laps. Weather also the same. No mandatory pit. Then we'll have a 9-minute break and head into session 2. We've got 15 minutes of qualifying. Weather is medium cloud. The main race is 20 laps. Weather is medium cloud through to light cloud with a mandatory pit requirement. After the first round, we have Rooney 9915 leading the championship by only 8 points, with both fastest lap bonus points managing to get himself ahead of Gallon 350, so it's very tight for that championship lead. Last week, we're at Circuit of the Americas National Gallon 350 after qualifying in 5th, took the victory. Rooney taking the fastest lap bonus points, and in the final race, Gallon, after qualifying 6th, took the victory, and Rooney again taking the fastest lap bonus points. Well, we can jump over to the track. So track length is 3.9 kilometers with 16 turns, and of course for Fuji GP we are in Japan. If you're just joining us for the stream, you haven't done so. Oh, we've got someone, it's Blarky, getting confused which way he's going to go out of pit lane here. He's taking some damage, probably best to pull that car back in. Beating in the practice as well. Probably going to get a little bit of a sting. When there is a qualifying session, you can still be penalised in the practice session for speeding in pit lane. And if you join us for the stream, hit that follow button. Great to see the number of followers we're getting for the league on Twitch now. Be great if we can see ourselves reach that 190 mark, then even stretch that out to the wonderful 200. It'll be a fantastic goal to reach. We'll make our way down through the list. We've got Colby Fred 7, take in the Janetta. And he's got some setups for the drivers. Drivers aren't required to use the same car for each round and race, so they can't change car for any benefit to better suit the track. So we do have a car change. Nick Cliff changing over to the KTM Crossbow, I believe. After last week's round, it was basically Janettas and Porsche Caymans. Nick Cliff put his hand up to volunteer to swap to a different variety of car. And we have allowed car swaps in series before, where someone has significantly struggled with the car with their selection in the first round. So for Nick actually changing over, he will lose all points earned last week in the Janetta. So he is starting tonight's round with 0 points. How about so that drivers can't just change for each round and have a better suited car for each of them. Some great shots around Fuji. I'm glad to be back streaming live tonight after some network issues for our iRacing on Monday night. We're having power outages from significant damaging storms around the area, causing havoc with NBN connections and even mobile network. Not able to actually broadcast, so I had next to no upload speed, so we could not stream anything out. But luckily, at least I was able to jump in and commentate to the race. So it'd be nicer to be able to have an audience to speak to tonight instead of just recording to myself. Do jump in the chat, say hello, let us know who you're here to cheer on. We'll jump on board for a lap with someone in a moment. First time's coming through. 158 for Pretzel. Corby lands a 148. Pretty quick time straight off the mark. And DK dominating at 145 for a first time lap. We'll bring up the map. There's a fair few more longer straights where the higher powered cars are going to have a bit more of an advantage. We saw the Janettas dominating fairly heavily throughout the practice and qualifying last week, especially with the Americas. However, the Porsches managed to actually last out a little bit longer on rubber. Those Janettas started to get a little bit slippery in their last few laps, which ended up ultimately seeing the Porsches make their way on through. And those errors by the race lead ended up allowing Gunn to push through with that Porsche and start to get a good lead over the race. Porsche really do relatively well still. So he's still getting in a 145. Pretty good all-rounder car. Even Mick Cliff with the KTM doing rather well. There's a very little buzz box. We'll jump on board with him. Very interesting little car to get in and drive around. May even have to look at one day having a event with the KTMs. Stay on board. About to start a fresh lap here. You can see that Porsche Cool Boys just ahead, slightly pulling ahead. Even with the slipstream, Eclipse just does the 147.568. So deep down on the braking from some heavy speed for the first turn. Very sharp hairpin. You can actually hear the KTM's engine now over the exhaust of that Porsche Cayman. A very short sector one. Mick is less than a temper on that best lap time. Sector 2, not too technical until the back end. Some very fast corners around the midsection. Good sweeping bends, so that's where the Mustang and Aston Martin is going to do rather well. More technical little chicanes and hairpins. Going to be where a lot of the more nimble cars will make up their ground. The heavier cars needing to defend this section more so. The first part of sector 3 is all those S's. It's very weaving wide as they make its way up the hill. KTM straight up the tail of the Aston. And that is Dirty Monkey, who's also running the Aston, I believe. This is going to be a pretty tidy lap. What will he do here? Went from a 147 to a 146.937. What a lap by Mick in the KTM. I wonder if we can see Dirty's car. We have DK Rush leading the way with a 145.530. A little bit of understeer as he goes through this section. Don't forget, when you join us for the stream, there is a bunch of sound effects controls underneath the stream. You can actually play cheers, applause, boos. It's not the Twitch cheering where you cheer for bits, it's just actually a sound effect all through the Twitch sound alerts extension that we're running. So do have some fun with that. Second quickest out there is Gallon 350. And with Rooney missing in action tonight, going to be prime opportunity for Gallon to try and put over a lead in the championship. This series is only a 4-round series. It's going to take us out for Christmas before we have end of season break. Tonight being the halfway point. Gallon looking to have a very strong round. Bobby in the Janetta setting a 146. Quickest of the Janettas out there. Had Rooney in the Janetta last week. Pretzel also in the Porsche. Marky Mark in the Ford Mustang. It's a lovely looking car and sounds great. Sure, he's having a few issues there. There was a lot of clutching going on. Not sure what quite was happening for him. Brings that car back into the pits. There's Dirty Monkey in the red and white Aston Martin. Jack Struck's in. Schoolboy makes his way around. As you can see, a very interesting pit exit, and especially when the drivers are going flat out down pit straight, and then being under heavy braking coming down into turn one. Once we start seeing the main race where the mandatory pit requirements, it could be potentially a little bit of chaos going on. We got DG0787, didn't make it last week, also managing to get in, be able to attend the race tonight. Same with Palarkey. Too lucky enough to be off watching Bathurst. Would have been a great weekend away to do that. All the luck for them in tonight's round. Demon Effects bumping Gallon 350 down. Being the quickest of the Janettas, setting a 1:45.701. This is under 2 tenths away from DK's quick time. He's a good 3 tenths away from the Porsche time that Gallon has set 1:45.982. For those of you that regularly watch all our streams, race on Monday night, Demon Effects debuting on our iRacing series for Monday nights. So if you regularly jump on to cheer on Demon Effects on Thursday nights, down to also go on and throw your support towards him on iRacing on Monday night as well. We are running the Ferrari 488 Championship currently. We'll be live with it at 7:30 PM Australian Eastern Daylight Time this coming Monday. Just a minute 30 left of practice, and then the drivers will head over into qualifying. There's 25 points on the line for a pole position. pace. Janetta. But he's still tucking behind Good Boys Porsche. If we do get an interruption tonight for the stream, could be as a result of a power outage, or we may even just get a partial one. One of my consoles actually flickering out, a little bit of a surge where the PC and other console was fine to be able to continue running. You may just get stuck on the one view of the driver for a while and not hear myself, and that is just me rebooting back in after an interruption. But hopefully we don't get a full interruption and lose power. Def setting a 1:49.383. Only 3.8 seconds away from the fastest time out there. That's practice session complete. 140 seconds to finish up these last laps. Issues. There's only 3.9 seconds separating 14 cars. Baston leading out in front on a 145. Then we're also in the 145's Demon Effects. The Janetta and Gallant in the Porsche. We have Pretzel, Corby, Philly and Mick all in the 146 bracket. Look at that, Philly and McCliff both with the exact same time, a 146.937. Not too often we get to see the exact same times on the board. That's some pretty tight stuff, especially the differences in the cars, being the Janetta and the KTM Crossbow. Dirty Monkey on board, Aston Martin. Just over a minute for drivers to last laps. Balaki having some fun in the Porsche in the last seconds of the practice. 387, he just crossed the line. Not sure where Pretzel is on the map. Might be AI driving the car there. And camera, I can't, oh here he's coming. Actually that's not working off camera. Playing around in that Porsche. Going for lovely drift off, cutting the corner in the dirt. Plenty of spots to give us his usual burnouts. We did miss his burnout last week. And there is open practice. We have DK Rush taking the fastest time at 1:45.530. Can he replicate that in the qualifying? The drivers have got 15 minutes to set that qualifying time. Done so with our other social media links down at the bottom of the stream. Our Facebook page, feed.com/Apex eSports League. That's where you can follow us on Facebook and then receive all results and standings and any incident reports. And if you don't have Facebook, you can still check that out and see all the results and read those incident reports. It is all public, so you can just do it from any browser if you go to that address shown below. Don't forget to also head over to our YouTube channel and subscribe. So that's bit.ly/ApexESL, and that is case sensitive for that link to work. Sounds like a Janetta roaring up behind. The Phillies Janetta, I believe, yep. That may have been Pretzel's Porsche, car number 49. So you're getting a nice run down the straight. The Porsche seemingly pulling away a little bit from Philly. He's redlining that out. Marky Mark lands first time on the board at 159.209. I don't think we've jumped on board for a lap around in the Stang. About halfway through a lap, come back to Marky Mark and jump on board for a lap. Hopefully we don't jinx him. Cliff's first time, a conservative 201. Not sure if Philly is dropping away from Pretzel at this stage. He's just keeping a strategic distance away so we can get a good run on him, not get held up anywhere, and then also get a good slipstream on those straights. Anyway, we'll jump on board. Ford Mustang, Marky Mark. The second time lap. Got 159 to beat, we only have 3.9 seconds separating them before. First time's coming in, the others 146s. Lap of 148, that's a very good time. That engine per downshifts, all that engine braking. Lovely line through the hairpin. Be cautious on those curbs. Could easily put the Stang into a slip. Get 2 tenths off. He's 148, that's going to put him in the 147 brackets. Sharp hairpin. A little bit of understeer, gets that in nicely. Good fast section. Very well suited to the Mustang. Windy section. Mustang's going to suffer a little bit in this section, but if he can get a good tidy line, that's where he's lost a lot of his pace. Understeered out, still managed to bring it in time. Second last hairpin for turn 16. A good line on this hairpin is going to be great significance for the Mustang. They can carry that speed in. We will stay on board just for that break, just to see where he tops out in speed. Losing 7 tenths. Yeah. Beast of the car. DK showing how it's done with 1:45.499. Only 3 tenths quicker than Demon Effects currently. Only half a second away from going 350. And DK having some bad luck last week after a spin out ahead with Pretzel. DK making contact, having nowhere to go after Pretzel spun and slid out in front of him, started to roll, making heavy contact. But still managed to recover reasonably well. DK is sitting 6th on the championship, got 131 points. Ahead of him was Mick Cliff, who's got 158 points, but with the car change, that 158 points has been reset to 0. That means DK has moved up a spot. His closest competitor is Philly Manilli with 168 points, and Demon Effects 198, Fallon 350 with 212, and Rooney with 220. And Rooney not making it to tonight's session yet. He was seeming to be online. I think he may have been away from his console. Looked inactive. Got a car spun out over on the side there. I think there may have been a bit of wall contact made as well. Good to see more variety out there. Now tried to make it so that all the tracks will suit different cars slightly more, but it isn't going to be too one-sided with the cars. Gallon 350 stolen pole position away. Two and a half tenths away from DK's quick time, getting down to the 1:45.2. That's Philly has spun off. We're on right here. Yes, we're going to jump on board with a Janetta. We've got over 5.5 minutes of qualifying left. It's a good opportunity for Demon Effects to move up the rungs as well. Rooney being absent. Janetta, tongue-tied, getting that out. Just under 8 litres of fuel, so he's running rather light. Running just a fraction away from his best time, 45.779. Most likely we'll see the Janettas have a lot of fade in their tyres towards the back end. We may see some differences going on with tyre selection. They may very well end up opting for the hards. They could go for softs. And they start to fade in those last few laps. Especially in this more technical section towards the back end of Sector 2 and the start of Sector 3. The Janettas are going to find themselves probably scrubbing out a little bit, but the other cars will also be doing the same. This is going to be a good opportunity coming on to, I think that is Dirty Monkey's Aston just up ahead. He's going to get a little bit of a slipstream here. Not too much as that Aston's pulling away, but this is definitely probably going to improve on his time. Ended up nearly being 3 tenths away. That's unfortunate. Brings that in. There's 3.5 minutes left. few little fine tunes. He can get a little bit more out of that car. He doesn't need to get a whole lot. Doggy Daddy currently parked up. DG currently nearly a half a second up on his time. He's set a 1:48.047. Shaving half a second off here will easily move him up into 9th position. I'll bump Marky Mark and Doggy Daddy down. Doggy's still in the pit. F currently 12.8 seconds away from the pole time. Right, our first chat message comes through. Is this a spam bot? Jump on board. So we haven't jumped on board a Porsche, I believe. A little bit of oversteer going on, a few little corrections. Comes out on a nice exit line. Pole setting time. The use of that corner right out into that exit curve. And slightly heavier fuel load. I think they use to try and distribute a bit of weight, get the car to stick to the track a little bit more. I'm throwing in a little bit more fuel can be a little bit of benefit rather than going extremely light. Buddy line, feathering it through. You could very well also be testing a race setup now. You could be confident in his pole time. And just refreshing himself ready for the start of the sprint race. He's got 10 laps. 21 litres should be sufficient to get through 10 laps. Oh, a little bit of slip. Running traction control. Some of the cars do have stability assist, so ABS and traction control for the majority of them. Ginettas do not have that. The KT, I'm not sure. We might have to jump in and see if they are showing up on Mick Cliff's car. Doesn't mean he hasn't actually turned them off though. Having traction control on. Going to slip down. I think he may be looking to utilise a little bit of a downhill slope. He's going to he crosses the line. I thought he might even pull up to do a burnout across the line, so that is qualifying complete. And we'll bring up Mick Cliff. This car's not showing any ABS or traction control, so I do believe it's similar to that of the Ginettas. Being a specialised design car just for the racing, not featuring a lot of the assists that some of the cars are open for manufacturing. Boy, starting to do some dummies in the dirt. Ahead, Porsche, welling up. Balaki reversing up track. He has to be careful he doesn't cop himself a DQ in the qualifying. At this point, it'll seem end up finishing. Actually, unless he's reversing the correct direction on the track. Yes, he is. He's reversing the right way, so that won't be a DQ. Over in the real race world, I'm pretty sure stewards would be going off their head right now. You can hear that car revving off that limiter. RPM at 7.8 in reverse. He's getting his corners pretty well done. The drivers usually having the mirror up in the middle of their screen if they've got it turned on, rather than the actual realistic mirror that's showing that what you can see. Got Marky Mark and Corby still out on track. We're not going to have enough time to wrap up this lap for qualifying. Then we have qualifying complete for the first race of round 2. Gallon 350 taking pole position. This is going to be a good start to push himself forward with absence of Rooney, with him having points on the championship lead. So we'll be seeing Gallon 350 starting from pole with that 145.242. The rest of the grid is DK Rush, Demon Effects, Corby, McCliff, Pretzelnator, Philly Manilli, Cool Boy, Marky Mark, DG, Doggy Daddy, Dirty Monkey, Blarky, and Steph to the grid now. Hey Simo, thanks for joining us, mate. As long as we don't get our camera zooming out at weird timings, we should see a really good start from this angle. Drivers got a couple of minutes to ready themselves for the start of the race. If you're only just joining us for the stream, jump in the chat, say hello, just as Simo has. Missing out on track, Simo. Don't forget to also hit that follow button. It'd be great if we can see ourselves reach that 190 followers mark. We've only been doing this for about a year and a half. It's great to see how much support we've got for it. Such a great community of drivers as well. If you are interested in joining in any of our races, you can find all the information to do so on our Facebook link down at the bottom of this stream. A nice little mix of cars at the front end. We've got Porsche sitting in pole, the Aston in position 2, the Ginetta in 3 and 4, then followed by the KTM. See who gets the jump here. The Porsches were doing well last week. Well, very delayed start by a couple, Corby and Demon, both really slipping. Almost contact. Mick's just been pushed off. He's entered back on the track nice and safely. A little bit of a side swipe. Gallon pulls away very quickly in that Porsche, but is he going to be able to hold off the power of that Aston as he comes down through the straights? Demon Effects looking to try and reclaim some positions. Losing out from position 3, dropping down into 6th. Oh, a little bit of a shunt. That's Pretzel, that's just gone off. Like as he shunt into Cool Boy, but I think he may have made contact with the car in front as well. Then it looks like he's got some steering damage he may be contending with. He's now side by side with Steph if he comes down through technical chicanes. Nice little battle going on. Oh, he just had Pretzel go off track and he's just come back on. Looks like he may have made contact. Actually, no, that's not. That's DG. He's now dropped down. DG's falling down into 14th position. Quite hard to distinguish these Porsches when they're all basically the same colour out there. This is where you should see the Aston really close in. Gallen going down for that inside line down pitch straight. Can see a slight bit of an incline on the track. Maybe weaving to try and get a little bit of downhill assist. Try and get a little bit more speed out of it. Even if you can shave less than a tenth of a second off, he does that every lap. That definitely can have an advantage over the course of 10 laps. It's going to be needed to be done to keep that Aston at bay. DK's hanging on, but he is slowly falling back. Nice, a little bit of contact from Corby and Demon. Corby was probing that inside line. And then Cliff quickly catching up. Ooh, Corby goes for a spin. Like he didn't go off track, doesn't take any damage. It's a salvageable spin. He loses that position to Mick and Philly. He's now got Mustang starting to catch up. Really coming in very quickly. That race leader Gallen 350 starting to stretch that gap out over a second. Porsche doing extremely well. Chinos will be at their limit going down the straight. They all go out, nearly a 4 wide. To approach, Corby goes for a move, takes a position, not enough to get around Mick Cliff as well. Being a little bit ambitious to try and make a move there, he wouldn't have had the track position and did risk that fault incident there. Getting Philly, making a fantastic pass right up the tail. Mick moves over and lets him through. Getting a little bit of pressure from Corby. It is literally only probably an inch away from the tail of his car. DK starting to rein that gap in. He did have it up to under a second. A little bit of slip in that more technical section. Still a battle going on for 5th position. Marky Mark and Pretzel side by side. Mark just squeezing in. Oh, and Philly's come out across. Correcting a little bit of oversteer. Nearly going out into the side of Marky Mark. And again, as the understeer's out of that corner. And Mark, hang on and stay in that toe from the Porsche. Got the more horsepower to be able to wind up down here, but then he's going to have to shave off a lot of speed coming down into the hairpin. Well, that aero wash is not going to be enough to be able to nose up in. Now just try and sit right on his tail. Look at getting him on the next straight. Get a good run out of the corner exit. BK brought that gap down to less than half a second, and it has dropped out to 0.7 again. We'll bring up the map. These once we get to those more technical corners, Porsche has a little bit of a slight advantage. Monkey currently in 10th position. We're starting to close down in on Balaki. DG climbing back up. He's now moved up into 11th position. Cool Boys drop down into 14th. Beth in 13th position. Oh yeah, we didn't get to jump on board with much practice and qualifying. Going to cross over between me as get into the pits. DJ in 11th, 30 in 10th. Blakey in 9th position and quickly closing in on Billy at this stage. Billy's starting to fall away from Mark, holding out in position 7. He's trying to close that gap in on Pretzel in that Porsche. I think Pretzel is starting to pull away, and it looks like Cool Boy has helped himself a post-race time penalty. Click in the KTM, needing to try and have a strong finish. He's starting off in round 2 with his championship points reset after changing car. DK and Gallen both teetering with that gap. Brings it down into the half a second mark, and then it starts to fall out again. Now to see if you can try and get the Aston Devon to get through more technical sections. Dirty Monkey's also copped a post-race time penalty. DK can sit on the tail of Gallen for a little bit, suffering a little bit of pressure. He might be able to force some errors down to have a crack at getting around, as I think once he's ahead of him, it's going to be hard to try and get around. Either two going off into that line. Demon Effects also doing the same. See if they weave in and out again. So you can see a slight incline on the track. However, sudden changes in direction can easily pull Gallen's going to the pits. I think he's serving a drive-through penalty. He did not stop for repairs. Did you get that fantastic launch at the start? So perhaps it was a jump start. It's going to hurt him if that is the case. Now with DK out in the lead on lap 6 of 10. He's got 3 seconds on Demon FX. Likely the generators will be a little bit loose coming into the next couple of laps. We just had a retirement. Looks like Cool Boy's just retired out from the race. So I don't think Gallen was in and repairing. Even after taking damage, cars will look to all scrub once the panels are put back on after an incident. I think it may have been a little bit of rubbing going on with Balaki and Marky Mark as they battle it out for position 6. Packing right in for that slipstream. Going to be towed along from the Mustang. Maybe not close enough to be able to position himself for a move in turn 1. He just hangs on. The Mikey Mark goes rather wide in the corner. It's an opportunity for Balaki, but he's going to have a left-hand corner coming up. He's going to have to try and get up into that track position. That is a fast corner. That Stang has a great run through. Balaki goes out for an outside move again. There is no room between these two. Side by side again. Another left-hand turn. Great little battle. Balaki and Mikey Mark. Balaki having several cracks at getting around. Very good racecraft going on to be side by side and battling it out. That understeer gets the Mustang. A little bit of door-to-door rubbing. Balaki pushes through and takes that track position. Brilliant pass. Gallen now on the tail of DG. Looks to reclaim some positions. He's got 3 laps to try and make up for it. DG's ran off wide. Def quickly closing in on Dirty Monkey. Dirty Monkey's got a post-race time penalty as well. We'll bring that up and just have a look. He's got a 4-second penalty. He moves offline, a bit of understeer, seeing him go off track. A good step up, and there's a bit of a safety there as well. She does lose a position back to Dirty. 4 seconds is a nice gap to try and sit behind him with. Def's got about 6 seconds to catch up to Doggy Daddy. DG tucking in and towing him behind Gallen. Keep pace. Mark starting to drop away. Oh no, he's going to have an opportunity here to get that position back from Balaki. They're going to be side by side coming up through tighter areas. Mustang's going to have a lot of speed coming out of this corner. This is where Balaki got Mikey Mark on the previous lap. Did nose in, looking for an opportunity to get around. Putting himself in a bad line, growing wide. Stang. That's Balaki. Makes that pass on turn 16. Balaki looking to try and break that slipstream. He knows that Stang's going to have the brute power to get around him here. They're side by side coming down pit straight. But an inside line's going to be pretty interesting. He's going to have to shove that Porsche, probably be able to brake a little bit later. Mark having fun at swapping positions over his last couple of laps. And Cool Boy jumping in the chat. Having to retire due to incident. Race leader is DK1 Rush. Did have a very strong lead over Demon Effects, but that gap is starting to close in. About across the line into the final lap. Corby also closing down in on Demon Effects. The eyes all on a race lead now. That Aston really pulling out a big gap down that pit straight. Janettas could potentially start to gain a lot of ground through the more technical sections, but just depends on whether the tyres are starting to be a little bit slippery like we noticed in the last couple of laps of the races and their stints in last week's round at Circuit of the Americas. But if they manage to figure out the cars so that they can compensate for that, even does close in, DK is going to have to play rather defensively. He's going to have to block lines. As once Janetta gets in front, it's going to be hard to try and make it up on the last lap. An error here. Great win for DK. I think he was mentioning it was his first win with Apex in the final round of the V8 Supercar Championship. And that was done at Bathurst. He had a fantastic drive and he's adding another victory to his name now. Another brilliant drive. Flashing lights. He's got to be happy with himself here. Taking the checkers in the opening race for round 2. Top of the podium goes to DK. Demon Effects narrowly holds off Corby. Takes position 2. Corby in position 3. Mickliffe doing well with that KTM, crossing the line in 4th position. Pretzelnator coming in 5th. Blakey and Marky Mark still very close, but he's got enough distance on him here to cross the line in position 6. Mark handbrakes a car across the line, making contact into Gallen's car after the finish line. It's Mark in 7th, Gallen in 8th, DG in 9th, Billy crosses in 10th, Doggy Daddy in 11th position. Doggy in 10th, Philly in 11th. Philly wearing post-race time penalties, costing him a position. Jeff coming up in 12th. 30 seconds to get final laps done. I think we're going to be seeing all cars cross the line, so we won't see a did not finish besides the retirement of Cool Boy. That'll be a great outcome. Well done to Dirty. And we have race 1 finish for round 2 of the Pagnian Imports GT4 Championship, with DK Rush taking victory and Demon Effects on the podium in position 2, and then also Corby with position 3. And I'll just scan across and see who gets the fastest lap. There's a 1:45 showing for Corby. So 1:45.906. Next is Gallen with 1:45.980. Corby securing the extra 10 points there, so doing well with the fastest lap of the race. Then our standings are DK Rush, Demon Effects, Corby, Mickliffe, Pretzelnator, Balaki, Marky Mark, Gallen 350, DG, Doggy Daddy, Philly Manili, Steph, Dirty Monkey, and Cool Boy retiring on lap 5. So we will be having about a 9-minute break while the drivers refresh themselves, ready for session 2. And we've got 15 minutes for qualifying, and then head off into the main race. And that's 20 laps around Fuji GP and a mandatory pit requirement. So it's going to be some exciting racing, so do stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. and welcome back to round 2 of the Pagnian Imports GT4 Championship. It is round 2, we're at Fuji GP, and the game session is now 1 PM. Then the race will start at 2 PM. The track length is 3.9 kilometers, 16 turns. We did just see DK Rush take victory in race 1 tonight. So dominating in the sprint race after Gallon 350 having to head off into the pits to serve a drive-through penalty for jump-starting the race. And it did look like he got a very good launch, but so did several others, especially Pretzel in the Porsche getting up and away very quickly. And even himself saying it's surprising he didn't get a jump start for that. We did see two Janettas, Corby and Demon Effects bogged down a little bit. Not get away so quickly. We did notice that Janettas a little slow off the mark last week. The Porsches all getting away very quickly. So we've got 15 cars out on the track now. We've got Rooney running the session later. Managing to get in for the race that's worth the big points. Oh no, Doggy Daddy's just copped himself a grid place penalty. He's copped one grid place. Feeding in pit lane. A little bit of movement for the championship standings after race 1 tonight. Gallon having to drop back a few positions with that drive-through penalty. Demon Effects taking 2nd place. Gallon's going to have to ensure he has a strong finish in the main race tonight. It says 120 points up for grabs for the win. There's only 60 points in the sprint race. Main race for each round is 120, with the final round being just the one big final race worth double that again to 240 points. Tonight being the halfway point to the championship. And I want to start looking to have a bit of a strong lead coming into round 3. Corby lagging a little bit, a few lag skips going on. The boy having retired out, some stating he made contact with Pretzel and another driver. Having issues with the car locking up. He's getting some quick lap times, but he isn't running ABS at all. The car locking up on the braking. See how he goes coming down into turn 1. He's chasing Rooney's Janetta there. Very easy with the brake pressure there. Not too much of a lock. Getting brake pressure down as well, probably beneficial for him. It's tight here with Corby, Marky Mark. Let's see who's in the other Porsche. It's Pretzel. That's not Pretzel. It's looking to be in good shape. It's Gallon's car. So it's Gallon tucked in. Gallon just joining us for the stream. Don't be shy. Jump in into the chat, say hello. Let us know who you think is going to take pole position. Going 350, take pole again. Came through with a very strong lap time. Stealing away pole position from DK. First time's coming through now. Lucky Dog in dirty. Callum qualifies his first time at 150, as did Corby, Marky Mark, and Doggy. Lucky setting a 149.263. Trying to find rooms and get his cap. So, under his delivery. Car number 79, also in the Janetta. Doggy Day doing well, qualifying a 150 to start with. It's going to help with the grid place penalties received for speeding in pits. So 145 is being set for qualifying in session 1 tonight. DK comes through for 147 first time. Aston was handling very well. He was starting to back off that pace. We did start to notice Demon effects closing in on Demon in those last. Demon closing in on DK. Demon doesn't close in on himself. But he was starting to close that gap in. DK had a very strong race lead. And in the lobby, DK mentioning that his tyres were starting to be well cooked by the last couple of laps. So it will be interesting to see how they go over the course of 20 laps. Maybe that improves his time to 149. He's still maintaining around that 5th position mark. And we're getting 146s come through. Corby lands 146.5, Gallant at 146.2. Track temperatures may be slightly different. Cloud cover is still the same, still medium cloud cover on that of session 1. The after game session time being 1 PM. Qualifying rather than 10 AM. You can see some slightly quicker times coming through than the 145s. We saw low 145s. Could we potentially see someone break into the 144s? Demon effects stealing pole position away. First to get into the 145s and only just at 145.977. Doggy Daddy bumped down into 7th position. He's got that grid place penalty that's going to move him down a spot. So you have to save a bit more off that time. And he's getting into the 147s. And it's still moving him down. So it's still quick times. Hilly and dirty at this stage. A little bit of bad luck out there. Qualifying 205s and a 2. That Aston absolutely powering up, closing that gap in on Steph. Qualifies a nice time, gets in a 148. Makes pass on Steph. We only had about 3.8 seconds separating the drivers in session 1. First 14 are separated by 4.2 seconds. It was 4.7. We just had someone move up the ranks. Billy into prevent 2-minute 2. Demon Effect still holding that pole time. It's just over 5 minutes remaining. Only leaving a couple of laps to be able to get that golden lap in. Demon looking to try and get as much temp into these tyres at the moment. Gonna try and beat that time. Did see quicker 145s. Did see Gallen break into the 145 marks. He doesn't. That was a 158. So it must be surely an outlap. DG currently qualifying 7th. He's only 1.9 seconds away from the pole time. 5 drivers in the 147s. Did see several in the 145s in qualifying 1 tonight. A bit slippery. Billy improves that qualifying time to 1:48.972, so he's now moved up into 12th position. Now it's only 4.2 seconds separating the grid. Qualifying in 14th. Not sure if that's Malaki or DJ in behind him. Oh, they've gone in for a spin. I think it's Malaki. Time will be invalidated. He's got 2 minutes 50 left of qualifying, so it's enough time to be able to get around. At least make the next lap count. We've got 2 drivers sneaking in with 145s. Gallen setting a 145.647. And DK 145.903. Only 3 tenths separating the first 3. Looking at a little bit of a repeat potentially of the start of race 1 tonight. We'll be appearing soon. No one will be lag skipping. Got his bandwidth back now. So Janetta sliding through. The Janetta's rather loose in that tail, which is why we see them start to get even more loose towards the back end of the sprint race, as well as the end of the stint, and then actually hitting at the halfway point. We are needing to actually get in and pit that a little bit earlier. For a lot of series, we've seen the drivers try and serve the mandatory pit requirement actually very late in the race, doing it in the last couple of laps. watching us for the stream, you haven't done so, do hit that follow button so you can be notified when we go live with Project Cars 2. Got lots of Project Cars 2 racing on Thursday night, 7:30 PM Australian Daylight Time, and also again on Monday nights with iRacing. So you can tune in and catch the Ferrari 488 Championship. And we've got a jam-packed year ahead after 2021 season wraps up. It's going to be some pretty exciting stuff. If you keep an eye on our video race footage for our break and before the racing, before we go live with the coverage of the races anyway, it is actually all the series hidden in that video, so see if you can pick everything that's planned out for the year. And then of course we will have special events thrown in amongst it as well. There is qualifying complete for session 2 of round 2. And I do want to put out a thank you to our league partners, Pagnian Advanced Simulation. Just go to their website, pagnianimports.com.au. Sort out all your sim racing needs, full-blown cockpits, steering wheels, all the like. Do check that out. And then also our series partner, Next Level Racing. Of course, you can get all your Next Level Racing needs all from Pagnian Imports. It's probably a great time to try and get something now around Christmas, see what specials they've got on. I myself run full Next Level Racing cockpit and absolutely love it. We have Gallon 350 holding that pole position. Demon done and dusted, same as Rooney. Crosses the line. That leaves Marky. Marky's coming into the pits. Knowing the pit entry, very crucial, especially coming into the main race. As we will need to serve that mandatory pit requirement. Like he's doing the burnout off camera. The game's backside cameras don't like it when cars go off on the track. The little sections of offsides where there's some great burnout pads, so usually miss out on seeing that. I don't know if Rooney's actually still driving the car. I think he may have actually crossed the line just before. But Blarkey's around here somewhere. There we have qualifying complete for session 2 of round 2. Gallon 350 again takes pole position, and the rest of the DK Rush, Corby, Demon Effects, Rooney, Mickcliffe, Pretzelnator, DG0787. Doggy Daddy's got that grid place penalty, so he moves down into P10. Marky Mark moves up into P9. Then we have Dirty Monkey, Blarkey, Philly Manilli, Steph, and Coolboy. So we'll head over to the grid now. All the drivers ready up for the final race of tonight. With 120 points on the line. Alan probably going to be playing a little bit more cautious with the race start. He does have an advantage over the Janettas behind him, so he's got 3 Janettas behind him. And that Aston will be a little bit slower off the mark as well. Doesn't need to try and probably get away too quickly. He also doesn't want to play it too cautiously and get bogged down and potentially lose those positions. That's very short coming down into turn 1. You can see the braking markers not too far away, so they're not getting up to a whole lot of speed before having to turn down. He doesn't want to have to be finding himself in amongst traffic and trying to navigate some track position amongst all the traffic. And keep an eye on Pretzelnator down the back. He had an absolute gun at the start. Those Porsches really biting in. And just alongside him on that inside line, in position 8 is DG. It's a good start here. He could definitely be moving up along the inside. There'll be a little rest here going for that side line. You'd want to go up through the middle. That's going to put you in a very awkward position to be in turn 1. Once the driver's speed already will get sinking, and there's, I say it, it happened. Thinking about to see the lights go green for the last race for tonight. Oh, bogged down. I think there's some lag from Corby. He actually just side skipped across. We are green and underway, and Gallen gets off to a slightly less quicker start, playing very cautiously. Absolutely flew ahead, but really pulls out of turn 1. He's going to have to keep that momentum up as he tries to put some ground over DK. Cliff gets a little bit more of a tidier start. You get a little bit of door-to-door action and bounced off track on pit straight off the lights in race 1 tonight. Demon will try and get around him very early on. The first 4 really pulling away, and Balaki's moved up to the 5th position. The Porsches really taking advantage over those Janettas and flying through. There's a huge pack going on at the moment. Doggy Daddy right up on the inside of Pretzel. Mikey Mark also trying to squeeze his way through. Then have Rooney, DG, followed by Dirty. Blarkies has copped himself a post-race time penalty. He's cut track somewhere. Not sure if he may have actually cut that where he's moved up the position or not. Alan and DK weaving down pit straight. Trying to break that stream. Oh, we've got Balaki going well off track. Look at that Mustang, Marky Mark flying up the inside down pit straight, gets 2 cars, gets around Pretzel and Doggy Daddy. It's going to be hard to try and keep that speed down through the hairpin in turn 1. Keeps them at bay. Pretzel runs off wide. Billy and Corby both in the pits. Taking some damage. Not sure if they've collected each other. Until being able to go back and review the replay to see what went on. You can get all the results of our incident reports by heading to our Facebook page. So fb.com/Apex eSports League. Once we post up the results and standings, the report will be there with it as well. Very nice inside line, but then he's just clipped a Marky Mark. So he's driving out and around to let him back through, regressing that position. A minor error there, causing Mark to go out for a spin. Allen struggling in that Porsche to keep that Aston Martin at bay. DK still hanging on. Over in race 1. Well, DK to try and hang on to that gap. Did use up his tyres pretty quickly. If it wasn't for the drive-through penalty, it definitely would have been Gallen taking that win. along inside of Blakey, makes some contact. Blakey understeered slightly through there, coming back in, having track position at that point. They're on lap 3 of 20. Lehman's trying to catch up to DK. They're still teetering around that mark. Lehman probably also actually playing caution. Doesn't want to go burning those tyres out too soon. Dived out of that corner. They should pull it up just in time. That's the landmark. Still closing in. Just going past the section where they made contact the lap before. Out of position. Looking to bound the climb back up and get around Doggy Daddy. DG pretty tight behind Rooney. He's keeping pace with him at the moment. Rooney's got a 6-second gap between himself and position 5. DG positions himself along that inside line, probing for an opportunity to get around. Showing a little bit more pace than DG. I think that was more the later braking, with cars being able to have ABS in the Porsche, but the Janettas not having that. Definitely will be able to outbrake the Janettas, especially when they're trying to conserve their tyres for as long as possible. DK starting to slip back, Gallen pulling away. That's going to start having some pressure put on him by Demon effects. And race leaders have got a nice safety net. They got 8 seconds from Mickliffe. Balaki's trying to have a go at getting around. Noses in on that inside, forces Mick to go rather wide. The KTM gets away a lot quicker, having that outside line. They're going to be side by side down pit straight, but I think the Porsche is going to pull away. Mick realising, decides to jump over and take that toe. Lucky making the move to try and break that slipstream. The same going on with the Jetta and the Porsche, with DG and Rooney. This is where we saw, I think there's some definitely contact. However, I think Rooney may have actually spun through turn 1. Then the contact was after the spin. I don't think it was an at-fault incident there for DG. That sees Rooney drop down. Oh, and he's just gone off track. So it went on there. Not sure if that was a little bit of lag. That car just seemed to power through the corner and then steer straight out into that wall. Car seems to be handling okay, so it may definitely be some lag that we were seeing there. So we'll see the visual damage to the car. It won't actually be affecting the car whatsoever. Nike Marks reclaimed that position back from Doggy Daddy after the spin between himself and Pretzelnator. Our race leaders still holding tight. Gap teetering between 1.8 seconds. Have Nick nearly going for a pass. I don't think he's got enough speed to be able to keep the momentum, especially coming into the left-hander up here. It's going to be on the outside line. Porsche had right away. Able to carry a lot more mid-corner speed. I think this KTM is possibly going to have it. It's on the bonnet. These guys have been having a great little battle. I think getting nice and close. You hear that cackle of that KTM on the downshift. That engine braking is spectacular. The KTM very nimble through the technical sections. Doesn't overly lack a lot of top end speed, but it does definitely need to have that advantage on the slipstream. On the longer straight tracks, KTM probably going to be a little bit more difficult to try and keep a lead without playing very defensively. You can see Blake very unlucky. Definitely knows that he's got to try and break that slipstream. He's got the power advantage, but the KTM does close in. However, movement like that can definitely drop off a little bit of speed. Balaki doing incredibly well up in 4th position. Got 13 seconds till he catches up to Demon Effects, who's going for an inside line for a move on DK. Didn't position him well for the next corner. Goes for the outside pass position for the next inside and didn't get up far enough to be able to own that track position. This will be beneficial for Gallon. Also, these two are heavily fixated on each other. Gallon's going to be able to focus on the track ahead, hit those perfect apexes, start to pull away, and put more of a gap on. That's going to be definitely crucial once it starts coming down to needing to head into the pits. I think that Porsche is probably going to be able to stay out for quite a while. Not sure how the tyre choice and strategy is going to play out for DK in race 2 tonight. Tyres were done for in that last couple of laps in the sprint race. We are nearing that point now. So we're now crossing the line for lap 8 of 20. With these two holding out, similarly paced, trying to close that gap in on the Gallon. Definitely be starting to get a little bit loose. Possibly expect them to head into the pits. We've got Mick going into the pits now. Not sure how the KTM will handle. He may have to have a tyre change. May just be a stop and go. It's not a requirement to have anything done to the car. You can literally just pull up, have the car jacked, and then release and head off, making a very quick pit stop. DK did lose that position out to Demon Effects. Both cars are definitely struggling out there, I think, on the tyres. Gallon just makes his way around the lapped car. I think that, whose car that is. Steph's car. Gallon runs very wide out of that corner. He's got 2.7 seconds over DK and Demon. 16-second gap between P3 and P4. The race leader's having a nice safety net again. It's all bunched up, looking for a battle for position 6. Mark Pretzelnator, Dirty Monkey, and Daddy's a little bit behind. It's Pretzelnator and Dirty. I think Steph just back down, not sure. Pretzel still tagging in behind Mark. That's actually Rooney in behind Dirty Monkey. Rooney is a lap down. Dirty Monkey on lap 9, Rooney on lap 8. If he would have been in and pit, he did take that huge hit. He did spin out. Been in a pit, could be advantageous if he can last out the remaining 12 laps for himself. Still have a reasonable finish, and is the bigger points for race 2. He did miss out on points for race 1 and the qualifying. They're making it into session 2. Will there be an exchange between DK and Demon? I don't think it's enough to get around. You're going to have that inside line. Demon maintains P2. DK definitely looking to get around. DK 2 temps quicker than Demon on that last lap. 2 setting a 147.4 and a 147.2. Positions along that inside line, but doesn't own the track position. Great battle for position 2. Down with the bumper of the Aston as he's pounding the back of Demon's Janetta. Slightly different lines here. Demon's really quick on the straight still. He's going to make a move on him. He's going to be on the inside. He's going to have to try and squeeze over and own that track position. Gallon's into the pits. DK takes the race lead. Demon now in position 2. Definitely sure these guys are going to be definitely slippery out there. Blaki also choosing to head into the pits now. BG still out on track, moves into position 4. Gallon in and done. I don't think he actually swapped out rubber. That was pretty quick. Comes out just ahead of Dirty Monkey. As I was mentioning in the first session, if you exit line in an awkward spot, it's actually in the racing line as you turn down in through turn 1. Rooney looking to try and reclaimed some positions there. Here's a lap down. He just got around Marky Mark. Not sure whose Porsche that is back there. That may have been Balaki, because he did just come out of the pits. No, that's not Balaki, it's the green one. So that's Pretzel's car. He's got a flapping front bar as well. Looks like a little bit of steering issues going on for him. Not sure if the steering wheel is a little crooked at all. Try and get him on more of a straight. He moves over, he's struggling with the car at the moment, so he's just letting traffic through. Completely misses that corner with the understeering. He's definitely got some steering issues. DK heads into the pits. Damon opting to stay out on track. Now on lap 12. The rubber he's got at the moment is going to hold out, and he can really push out some quick laps. Did it at 1:49, and we just had a retirement. Trying to see who it is that we've just lost. Current standings, we have Steph in 14th position, Rooney in 13th, Boy currently in 12th. A fair bit of damage shown to that car. He's managed to get that ABS sorted. He gets a nice pass on him. Himself up into position 12. Billy in 11th. Marky Mark just finishing his hit requirement. He's in 10th position. Larky was in 9th. 8th position is Mick Cliff, Colby in 7th. Maybe Tornado that may have retired out. He was having issues with the car. Did get caught up in incident in race 1. The incident causing him to crash in race 2. Would be rather frustrating. Doggy Daddy was in 6th position. Dirty Monkey in 5th. DK in 4th position. PG running in 3rd. Doggy Daddy now heading into the pits. DG has Gallon just ahead of him, but DG will need to pit in. Gallon are currently trailing from the race leader by 26.8 seconds. So the Demon does need to pit in. Lap time starting to slow up a little bit. Gallon setting a 1:46.4 since being in and pit. He opts to stay out on track, so he must be feeling pretty confident with those tyres at the moment. Will he be trying to stretch this out and then come in and try and do off a quick 6 to 5 laps instead of soft slicks, nice and fresh? Carve up in those last laps, or is he going to take the gamble? Possibly sacrifice a little bit of time by staying out on track. He can manage to pull away. Could be be a very good strategy. May just come out fairly close to Gallen. Gallen's made the pass on DG. DG only a few seconds ahead of DK. Once DG heads off for his pit stop, DK will move up. He's about 5 seconds away from Gallen. The big question will be, will Demon be able to come back out ahead of Gallen after serving that pit? Last laps, a 147.589 for Demon effects. Gallen 350, a 147. Demon still holding those times out. Strategy could definitely pay off. This lapping past Dognet. No, he's heading into the pits now. Bring up the map just to show he's got full length of the straight there. Gallen just coming around onto turn 16. Will it be enough? He's going to be racing him. He's going to come out straight in the racing line. He's making his way. Will it be enough? This is going to be tight. No, Gallen gets well ahead. It's the boot down now. Enters race in position 3. Just almost being able to get ahead of DK. Well, it looks like DK's just gone off on the corner. That's just cost him. It was rather convenient to have a little bit of a road actually leading off onto the track there, so he could actually come back on the track with a bit more speed once he turned that around, rather than getting all loose in the dirt. Demon effects chasing down DG. Doesn't need to race too aggressively with him. He may not be very aware whether he's actually been in a pit or not. Doesn't want to get caught up, involved in an incident here. Potentially put an end to his race. He's had a great drive. Very well see DG peel off this lap. I think he is going to be doing so. In he goes. Demon moves up into position 2. Gallen's got a good 9-second lead at this stage. Colby moves into position 3. I do believe he's been in and pit. Took some damage early on and had to pit, so it'll be definitely up to whether he can last out these last 4 laps, whether he needs to come in and swap tyres out. If not, he's looking pretty good in position 3, only 10.5 seconds away from the race lead. He's got 3 seconds to catch up on Demon effects. Demon is out nice and fresh. As expected, he's going to be putting down some very quick times now. Dirty Monkey in 4th position. Not sure if he has been in and served his pit. That is the case, so it'll be very convenient for DK. And then also for Mickcliffe, currently in 6th position. DJ, after having pit, comes out. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. I think they both had about equal claim in that corner where contact was made. A bit of a racing incident going in between the two. DG gets around Balaki. Oh, but there's a spin. Turns around in front of him. Puts Balaki in the clear for a while. DG turns that car around. Steph and Marky Mark coming up behind. Steph currently down a lap. She's in position 15, DG in 8th. Marky Mark in the Mustang. Try and close the gap in on position 8. Got 7 seconds to catch up. Don't forget to use those sound effects on the stream as well. Have some fun. Throw a cheer and a clap for your favourite drivers out there. Schiffer Gallen having a fantastic drive. This is going to be the outcome he needs after the incredible bad luck with the jump start in race 1 tonight. He only had 8 points, trailing behind Rooney for the championship. Rooney did miss race 1 tonight. Currently running 11th. Taking a couple of poles. You take a win. Well, Gallen's had a slowdown. I'm pretty sure where he's going out rather wide. One of those corners, it's actually maybe potentially giving him a slowdown request. Bring up the times. It's a 2-second penalty. Other drivers, we've got Balaki with 3-second penalty and Marky Mark wearing a 4-second penalty. Bullboy a 1-second. So Steady Monkey's just peeled off into the pits. Nick Cliff is up into position 5. He has been in a pit rather early. There's only 2 laps to go. Gallen's 2-second penalty. That's now reduced that gap between himself and Demon to 5 seconds. Demon Effects can find 5 seconds over the course of the next 2 laps. He could steal away the win. He's just going to catch up to Gallen. He doesn't need to get around him here. Pretzel all retired out. Don't think he's left the session. Philly and Rooney going for it in position 11. Gallen still leading the way. He's got 9-second lead on the race. Now being on the second last lap. He's only going to hold out a little bit longer. Reed just lost a position to Philly. Looks like he may have made a mistake. In that position up. But he's still hanging tight. To reclaim that spot back from Philly. Philly's probably going to have to be a little defensive. No. Oh, it's a very unfortunate instant there for Rooney. Bit of oversteer happening with his car. So he's just lost that full front end and he's just turned in, making a bit of contact with Mick. Rooney having a bit of bad luck in race 2, unfortunately. That cackle from that KTM. Rooney's car definitely looking like it's having issues with a bit of steering at the moment. Well, smashed windscreen. It was a pretty solid hit. Yeah, it doesn't want to steer. Pretty sure that's on the carbon on the intake there on the engine bay. It's on lap 20. Final lap now. Gallen leads by 7. Oh, just up to 8.3 seconds. DK closing down on Corby. Can he take a spot for the podium? Took a win in race 1 tonight. Podium finish in the main race tonight would be a great way to move up those championship standings. And 5th for Mick Cliff will do well with having his points reset with car change for tonight's round. Gallen having 2-second penalty. There's an 8-second gap between himself and Demon. He's going to be pretty safe. I think this is where Gallen may have copped the slowdown, running rather wide on that exit curb. He's flashing the lights well and early. That's a win in race 2 for round 2. It's going to be a great way to get the lead for the championship. Congratulations to Gallen. And also Demon Effects. The podium in P2. Then we get Corby coming up. I don't think he's got a post-race time penalty. If it is, he could definitely lose the spot. No, he doesn't have it. I couldn't see it on my screen. It's a podium finish for Corby. DK in position 4. Mick Cliff rounds it up in 5th. And we'll be inviting in our podium finishers, so we'll be talking to Gallen, Demon and Corby. As we head over to the results for the race. Should be a lead change for the Pagnian Imports GT4 Championship after that outcome for Gallen. Blakey crosses in 6th, but then drops to 7th because he's got those post-race time penalties. So that means Dirty Monkey moves up in the 6th position, Blakey in 7th. Mark in 9th, Doggy Daddy coming up in 10th position. Billy in 11th, and then we have Palmer running out for the race. Gallen 350 takes victory in race 2 for round 2, scoring the big 120 points, and especially also getting the pole position. The question will be, does he get a clean sweep for the second session? See what the fastest laps are. We're seeing some 147s down below, 146s up the top. Just missing out. So it's 146.055. So Demon taking the fastest lap bonus points for the second race. So on the top of the podium, Gallen 350, then Demon Effects in P2, followed by Corby in P3. And then the rest of the standings is DK Rush, Mick Cliff, Dirty Monkey, Balaki, DG, Marky Mark, Doggy Daddy, Philly Manili, Rooney, Steph, Coolboy and Pretzelnator, who retired on lap 10. Unfortunate for Pretzelnator, who will be bringing in Gallen, Demon, and Corby into the chat. So bear with me as I add them into it. It's always slow loading it in. Their positions conveniently located on my list at that stage, so I didn't have to go hunting for their names. So we should see them join in very quickly. Here we have Gallen. Congratulations on the win, mate. What a drive.
Thanks, mate. Hard yakka. You
Yeah,
knew the boys were quick.
Yeah, they weren't going to let you get away too easily on it. They were keeping you pretty honest for a good portion of it. That early pit.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, the early pit paid off in the end. Tyres were a little bit loose, getting a bit hot, so I had to get them in and cool them off and then put the hammer back down again.
And almost thinking that Demon was possibly going to be able to get into the pits and come out just ahead of you. You're starting to put down some pretty quick lap times before heading in on that much later pit. So congrats on P2, Demon.
Yeah, thank you very much, JT. Well done, Gallen and Corby. Good race.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I sort of went in on, I think, around about 13 or 14, and it did, and the tyres did improve after pitting, but anyway, but I wouldn't have caught Gallen was too quick. I had a good battle with DK at the start for the first half of the race until he had a bit of a spin, which was unfortunate. So otherwise,
yeah, I think Gallen was
really good.
Probably a little bit relieved seeing you guys duke it out for a while, so you can just fixate on pulling that gap ahead for a while.
Yeah, I was faster in the corners and that, but down that straight, those two cars, especially DK's car, it's just too fast.
Yeah,
so I said to him, look, there's no point battling, man. I'm just going to let you go down the straight. Because we had a few good tussles at turn one coming down there. So,
yeah, I've seen that.
Congrats, Corby, on the podium. Good drive.
Yeah, didn't know where I'd end up after lap one, so just got caught up in turn one, got tapped and went around, let the field go for a safe entry, and then pit because I had 4 damage on the front, I think. And it was kind of tough. Just tried to hold my lap time because I didn't have any draft either. Everyone else's first 5 laps drafting each other down the straight, so I get a bit more speed. But Zero put together a top setup for me, so I haven't had any time, and it was good on tyres and it's good in the corners, so I'm really happy.
Yeah, definitely lasted out for that early pit, so done very well.
Yeah, both races Corby came back at me. Even in the first race, he was quicker in that second half.
Yeah, that big sweeping right and the left. The car was slippery, so he sort of had a bit of technique to drive it, but it was good on tyres, and it's that second one, Demon, I was like, I'm going to try and catch it or crash, basically.
You were catching, and then when you spun, I went...
And I ended up spinning, so, yeah. So, no, it was good. It's a strange track in the fact that you got that massive straight and then the corners, so how do you attack a setup, do you...
And there's a few different ways to attack the corners too, so...
Yeah.
There was a few different lines going on out the back there.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, all the different lines for the cars, and even the same cars, like all the Genettas, just with those setups, very much a different strategy for the handling of the car.
Yeah, well, I ran the soft tyres in both races.
Oh, really?
I just flattened the camber out in the second one, and it seemed to do really well, so probably should have done that first.
That's awesome.
Great drive, guys.
Yeah,
It'll make it a little bit more interesting doing Ruin Les It's short. So, lots of walls.
The gutters there, killer. So, If you
Very
haven't
tight
driven it,
lines.
everyone needs to practice that track because it's
Yeah.
not a jump in and drive.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was
Well
hard.
done,
in
Gal, mate.
first.
Anyway,
Some good mix.
well done, Gallon.
Thanks,
Congrats,
mate.
guys.
Just spewing I jumped the start on the first race. Oh, my head was shaking.
Too keen, mate.
Yeah, I was ready to go.
Yeah, your car takes off like a rocket, and you still jump the start. It's like you could have waited 10 seconds and then took off.
Yeah, no, the car was dialed in nicely. I had 2 different compounds running in that thing, and had hards down the left side and softs on the right side, and
Yeah, interesting.
they paid off in the end. Big massive spring rate change and whatnot set up, so it handled pretty well. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, well done. Congrats, guys, and look forward to seeing what you can do next week.
Yep.
Cheers, JT.
Thanks
Thanks,
again.
JT.
No worries. There we have our podium finishers. Gallon 350 taking victory in race 2 tonight. That should be enough to be able to do a change in the championship lead. So do check out our Facebook page and follow it if you haven't done so you can see the results, standings, and incident reports. And tomorrow we will get up those results for the Ferrari 488 after the delays with all the network issues. So next week we do have round 3. And as I was mentioning, it's ruinless as it's short. So it's going to be a great race to see. So do hit that follow button if you haven't done so you can be notified when we do go live. And it's at 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Thursday nights and Monday nights for iRacing. So plenty of racing action. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope to see you trackside next time.